Revelation 21. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride, adorned for her husband. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and God himself shall be with them and be their God.
Welcome, my child, to the eternal kingdom of light. Come, all who seek peace and light. Enter into my eternal kingdom.
And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow, nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. And he that sat upon the throne said, Behold, I make all things new. And he said unto me, Write, for these words are true and faithful. And he said unto me, It is done. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I will give unto him that is athirst of the fountain of the water of life freely. He that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his God, and he shall be my son.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutation to the hopeful elect out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds. In the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful, like the believers, the listeners who came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Shai. All right, and what I want to get into this morning, or rather this evening, going into the excellence of the Chaldeans, okay, which when you go into the excellence of the Chaldeans, it comes from a precept in the book of Isaiah, which we'll get it, okay. But what I want to get into first is book of Isaiah 47. All right, and we're going to when the scriptures speak about the Chaldeans, okay, referring to the ancient, the Neo-Babylonian, warlocks and witches and astrologers, okay, that was counselors, to the king. All right, and you look at today, well, there will be the elites, okay, the witches and warlocks, which they oversee, the leaders of this world. Okay, this world is ran by heavy witchcraft and enchantment this age. All right, Esau, Edom. Okay, scripture calls him the mistress. Okay, of witchcraft. Okay, which is the master. When you really go into it, you go into the root word mistress. It's the feminine way of saying Baal. Okay, which that goes into Lord or master. This man has mastered, witchcraft in the earth, enchantments, astrology, soothsayers, okay, sorcery, okay, through the music, through the food, through, this nigga drops, even when you go into the chemtrails, all right, the barium and the aluminum, where you go into those, on the periodic table, it's barium is Ba, and aluminum is Al, all right, which is Baal. Okay, so everything this nigga does goes back to some type of enchantment, some type of ritual, okay, some type of sorcery, Okay, everything that you can think of, all right, dealing with the devil that's rooted in some type of witchcraft. Okay, these are modern day, these elites are the modern day Chaldeans. Okay, and there's a judgment for them. When you go into Isaiah 47:8, it said, therefore, hear now this, thou that art given to pleasure, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thy heart, I am, and none else beside me. And see, this devil, he thinks that he's a guy. He says, I am. He thinks that he's on the level with the Most High. Okay, that's how the Most High described himself to Moses. I am that I am. Well, this devil, because of his witchcraft and his technology that he's been able to tap into, well, he has this sentiment that he is. Okay, and the Lord finna embarrass this man and show that he's not, man. Okay, that he's nothing but a man. You see? And it says, I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood, which is calamity. These devils, they don't think, especially these elites, you know, in their mind, they'll never see calamity. In their mind, they always, find a loophole, all right, through witchcraft, okay, through enchantments, okay. They always find a loophole, to escape judgment, okay, or to get, to forward their agenda. Well, now they're about to see calamity, man. In America, all right, the spirit of America, this is the most enchanted place on the earth, and that's why Americans, they feel no sense of urgency no matter what's going on in the world, okay, because they're so enchanted, all right, that they're secure, you see. But there's calamity coming to these elites, there's calamity coming to America, okay, and it's gonna be in a moment, in one day. You see what a day, what a difference a day gonna make, okay, concerning the judgment, of America, man. It said, but these two things, and also the status of the elites. The scriptures say, how the physician cut off a long disease. He that is a king today shall die tomorrow. Sirach 10:10. Okay? Hey, what a difference a day gonna make, man. It said, but these things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood, they shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries and the great abundance of thine enchantments. Okay? So this devil, he's guilty of witchcraft, which that's a sin worthy of death. Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live according to the law. Okay? And that's why America is going to be just hammered, okay, with destruction, man, from those nukes, man. All right, and fire from the chariots, man. Okay? It says they shall come upon thee in their perfection, man, at the perfect time and in its completeness. Okay? For the multitude of thy sorceries and thy great abundance of thine enchantments, for thou trusted in thy wickedness. See, the devil has trusted in his wickedness and is beginning to fail him now. The sword is beginning to fail him. Okay, his enchantments is beginning to fail him. Okay, thou hast said, none seeth me, thy wisdom and thy knowledge it have perverted thee, and thou hast said in thy heart, I am, and none else beside me. Okay, going back to that prideful spirit. Okay, the devil thinking that he is. Okay, that he can go tick for tat with the Most High. Okay, and the Lord is breaking this man down and embarrassing this man, showing, well, you just a man, you a boy, you too little. Okay, as Jake say in sportswear, you too little. You see, so the Most High gonna continue to dismantle this man and show, all right, that he's a mere mortal, man. Verse 11 said, therefore shall evil come upon thee, thou shalt not know from whence it riseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee, thou shalt not be able to put it off, and desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. Okay? So this devil, he prides himself in being in the know, being illuminated, and being, this devil has been generations ahead of society, man. Okay, but now prophecy is walking this nigga down, and see now he's in uncharted territories where things are happening to where he can't account for it, man. Okay, this devil can't account for everything that the Lord got going on. Okay, there was a time when he stayed ahead of the curve. Now, okay, he done got walked down. Okay, and prophecy making this nigga look bad, man. You see, he said, "Thou shalt not be able to put it off, and desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know." It says, let me read on. Uh, yep, verse 12 says, "Stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be, thou shalt be able to profit. If so be, thou mayest prevail." And this is the Lord mocking this nigga, man. Because the Lord stripping this nigga from the ability to enchant. Okay, he's cutting him off from that access of that left hand, man. Because this nigga finna go into captivity, man. Okay, the Lord exalted this nigga, gave him, access to the left hand side. Okay, gave him the sword, to where he just was able to bully these nations. Okay, but now the bully nose is bleeding, man. Okay, and the world is seeing it because the Lord's getting ready to strip this man from everything. Okay, but he's still trying to stand with these enchantments, man. But he's going to lose. Okay, even when you go into this war, okay, this devil, um, this devil, going off the blood moon and also the month of March, which goes back to the Roman goddess, the Roman god of war, Mars. Okay, we'll get into that. Even him starting this war was an enchantment. Then he opened up the war with what? What did he open up the war with? Okay, uh, he killed, the the supreme leader, but then what he killed them schoolgirls. Okay, them little girls. Okay, and all right, in Baal you have Molech. Okay, is a deity under Baal worship, which goes into the sacrifice of children, and that's why in these wars he loves killing, children. Okay, this is this devil trying to stand with his enchantments for his new world order, man. His objective is to kill, children, man, for the most part, and just kill people in general. Okay, so this devil is trying to stand with his enchantments. Then he, because he started the attack February 28th, going into March the 1st. Okay, which goes into the month of uh, uh, March, which goes into Mars, the Roman god of war. Okay, which we'll get into it. But let's go here. And it says, "Thou art weary in the multitude of thy counsel. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from, all right, these things that shall come upon thee." Okay, from these things that shall come upon thee. All right. So the Lord is mocking the devil, to stand with his enchantments. All these astrologers and stargazers and monthly prognosticators. Okay, why yeah, in the month of March, the devil, you see, he's getting his counsel to do this, but see, he's getting foolish counsel. Okay, now the Lord's giving this nigga foolish counsel, man, showing that it was never him. Esau was operating off counsel on the left hand side. That's what kept him ahead of the curve. Now that same counsel, all right, has this man crashing out. The same counsel that kept this man ahead of the curve is the same counsel that has this nigga crashing out, man. Okay, and this is what we're seeing happen in real time. Okay, and it says, let's go from there. I want to get this. I got it pulled up in the chat. So when you go here, so when you go into the ancient Chaldeans, I said, well, the ancient Chaldeans known for astrology and mathematics, and what empires have borrowed from them even until this day. It says the ancient Chaldeans were part of a civilization of Babylonia in Mesopotamia, modern Iraq. They became famous for astronomy, astrology, mathematics, and record keeping. Their knowledge, influence, which is kind of like data, all right, record keeping. It said their knowledge influenced many later civilizations, and some ideas are still used, all right, today. Here are major, here are the major empires and cultures that borrow heavily from the Chaldean Babylonian knowledge. The Persian Empire, the Achaemenid Empire conquered Babylon in 539 BC. Okay, that's what I want. Here you go. The Greeks. All right, so Greek scholars learned a great deal from Babylonian Chaldean science, especially after uh, contact during the era of Alexander the Great. Important Greek thinkers influenced by Babylonian astronomy included uh, Hipparchus and Ptolemy, built astronomical models using Babylonian data, all right, and Almagest, okay? It said key ideas adopted the zodiac system, 12 constellation, planetary tracking methods, mathematical astronomy, okay? The Roman Empire inherited Greek science and spread Babylonian astrology throughout Europe, okay? You see that? Roman society widely used, all right, horoscope, astrology, planetary week system, astronomical calendars. And see, these things on the left hand side, but there's a right hand side to, when you go into the math, okay, when you go into what you call astronomy, because astrology is when you go into, witchcraft. Astronomy basically just a study of, you know, the uh, the constellations. Okay, which there's a science and there's a wisdom on the right hand side to that, but these devils operate on the left hand side. Okay, so when you go examples of Chaldean influence still used today, base it says 60 base 60 mathematics, 60 minutes in the hour, 360 degrees in a circle, astrology and zodiac, 12 zodiac signs from Babylonian sky mapping. So that's from Babylon, the zodiac sign. Okay, it was just big here. Was there's a right hand, all right, wisdom to that. Okay. Now when you go down, all right, as is the month of March named after the Roman god of war. It says, yes, the month of March is named after the Roman god of war. The name comes from Mars, the Roman god of war. The Latin name of the month was Martius, meaning the month of Mars. While Mars, in early Roman kingdom and later Roman Republic, March was originally the first month of the year. Okay, show you that the month, mean that the spring is the beginning of the year. Okay, even when you go into January and February, when January goes into the goddess, Roman goddess of Janus, which is the god of the new beginning. Okay, and when you seen in January, what we devils on? All right, the kidnapping. Venezuela president, beating his chest and proclaiming war against the earth, pretty much. All right, because in January he's been on the warpath since January, man. Okay, going to the Roman god of Janus, the god of new beginnings. Okay, it says winter campaign. It said war season began in spring. Winter campaigns were difficult, so Roman army started military campaigns in March. March was not only a war god, but also connected to agriculture and fertility, which fit the start of spring. Okay, so um, let's see. Yep. It says, so yes, March literally means the month of Mars, the Roman god of war. Okay. So you have, all right, the Chaldeans, which was known for their astrology, you know, they was able to predict, events. All right. Matter of fact, let me see. What were the Chaldeans? So you go into it. It says the Chaldeans of Babylonians and Mesopotamia, all right, were famous in the ancient world for combining astronomy, scientific observation of the sky, with astrology, interpreting celestial signs. By carefully watching the sky for centuries, they developed systems that allowed them to do several impressive things. Okay, it says predict eclipse and planet movements. Okay, that's why these devils are able to do what today? Predict the blood moons, the blue moons, the eclipse. Okay, it said Chaldean scholars kept detailed records of the moon, sun, and planets. Using these records, they could predict lunar eclipse, okay, with good accuracy, track cycles of the moon and planets, calculating repeating eclipse cycles like the solar cycle, okay, about 18 years. Okay, this is one of the earliest forms of mathematical astronomy. Advised kings and governments. Advised kings and governments. And what do you have in this blood moon? You had what you had in the month of March, you had the blood moon. Okay? So these devils are they're tapping into this witchcraft and astrology, and it's advising them, all right, on how to move. Okay? But the Lord controls that. These devils are so goddamn dumb. Okay, if they so smart and they know every goddamn thing, well, shouldn't it be common knowledge that the Most High control both sides? Okay, well, these niggas are not that bright like that. They only wise in wickedness, man. They only wise in a certain category the Lord allows them to be wise in. But the scriptures say the knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom. Okay, so being wise in wickedness is not true wisdom, man. Okay, so these devils, they're being all right, counseled. Okay, by looking at the stars, the moons, the signs in heaven. Okay, and they're different. Once I said monthly prognosticators and stargazers are telling them, okay, now it's time. And now we're seeing that this same advice that had them on top is the same advice that's taking their ass out of here, man. Okay, it says astrology was mainly used for state decisions, not personal horoscopes at first. Priests, astronomers would interpret celestial events as omens for the kingdom. For example, an eclipse might signal danger to the king. A planet's position might mean victory or defeat in war. Comets, okay, or usual stars could warn of famine and rebellion. Okay, so these devils are tapped into this heavy today. You see, and they make major decisions, okay, based off witchcraft. Okay, but the Lord controls the left hand side, so the Lord can make the sign say what He wanted to say. Okay, and it says kings of the Neo-Babylonian Empire, such as Nebuchadnezzar II, often consulted these astrologer priests, and you read a lot about that in the book of Daniel. You know, he would always go to those priests. Then he would have to go to Daniel, because showing you that those priests were limited, just like but Daniel knew things that the priests didn't know. That these astrologers, okay, this whole big assembly of astrologers and monthly prognosticators, where Daniel will come in and he will know things, all right, that these niggas didn't know. Daniel's second chapter is a major, okay, example of that, man. Going down and breaking down the dream of the statue, man. It took Daniel to break that down. The Chaldeans can do it. Okay, showing you the right hand is more insightful, okay, than the left. Okay, when it comes to the will of Yahweh Bashim Al Shah. It said the Chaldeans helped develop the 12 sign zodiac by dividing the sky along the sun's path in 12 equal sections. Many zodiac constellations we know, all right, today come from this system, including, okay, you go into the different zodiacs, but all right, but the main thing is how they counsel kings, all right, through astrology, man. All right. And it's the same thing that's happening today. Okay. Matter of fact, I think the months are supposed to align. Uh, I think the months are supposed to align this this month. I mean, the planets are supposed to align. It's like, let me see. I heard the elder brother Choir Quam talk about it. Yep, here you go. Let's let's go here. Pull this up real quick. So you go here to the ask it, are the planets supposed to align this month? It says yes. It says yes, a rare planet parade or pleasant a planetary alignment involving 6 planets. Okay, involving 6 planets: Mercury, Venus, Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, and Jupiter will appear in the night sky around February. Oh, it already happened. Okay, so and this is the night them niggas attack. This is the night that these niggas attack, man. The Most High setting these niggas up for failure, man. The Most High set Esau up for failure, man. This is the night these niggas attack. Now it's making sense. Now it's making more sense, man. Okay? Mercury, Venus, Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, and Jupiter will appear in the night sky February 28, 2026. Okay? Set this nigga up for failure, man. Golly. I used to have a coworker say that all the time. Golly. Yeah, man. Yep. the Chaldeans, man. Okay, the Chaldeans, man, because what this nigga has embarked on, okay, is his own slaughter. Okay, he's following, these monthly prognosticators and astrologers, and this is what they led him to his end. Okay, the Most High allowed him to win on the left hand. Okay, well, it was always temporary, man. When the Lord gonna allow this man to prosper in wickedness, man. Now the Lord's getting ready to walk this nigga down. Okay, now everything is working against him. Witchcraft is working against this nigga. The sword is working against this nigga now. Everything is working against Esau, man. Okay, and he's still gonna pull a MOTB out the hat. You see, this nigga, the Lord's still gonna allow this nigga to pull the MOTB out the hat. Okay, but after that, he's done. You see, but after that, he is done, man. Okay, so let's go here. Let's go here to the book of Isaiah, 13th chapter. All right. This is Isaiah 13:7. It says, behold, I will stir up the Medes, which are the Russians, against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. See, there's no more negotiation. The spirit of these other nations, there's no more negotiation with America, man. Okay? There's no more negotiating with America. You see? These nations at the point now, it's just war. Okay? Which is the will of the Lord. You see? And it says, their bows, which are their missiles, also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. They shall not spare children. Okay, so the Lord has put the spirit on these nations to get busy with America, man. All right, America is finished. Okay, the elites are finished. You see, because America represents, the enchantments of the elites, man. Okay, and they're trying to transition into a new order, but nah, man, you're going to be destroyed. Okay, in this order. You see, all right. The Lord is going to allow you to get so far into that new world order, man, that He's going to destroy He's going to bring everything down, man. All the elements shall melt with fervent heats, and the works thereof, man, all the works and the wickedness of the elites are going to be melted, man. Verse 19, it says, in Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah with that fire, man, from on high. Okay, those nukes are going to come. Those nukes are going to look like they're coming from directly from the Most High. The trajectory that them nukes are going to be on. Okay, they're going to look like they're coming down from the Most High, man. Which they are, because they are the weapons of the Most High's. All right, in the nation. Okay, which he allowed these nations to develop and mass produce for His will. Okay, which is to destroy America, like He destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, man, through fire. Okay, you go from there. You see, and Sodom and Gomorrah was heavy into what the sexual lewdness. Okay, well, there was sexual magic. Okay, they was heavy into witchcraft and left hand. You see, so you go here. Let's go to Jeremiah. I believe is it 50 and 10. Let's see. Yep. This is Jeremiah 59 said, for lo, and it's the same narrative, for I will raise to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, which is beginning with Russia, and all the allies under Russia, man, the chief prince. Okay, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence shall she be taken. The arrow shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain. Okay, none shall return in vain. You see, so this is why the Lord had these nations, equipped, with these precision weapons, because they have an assignment to destroy America. These nations have been raised up to destroy America, man. Completely destroy America. Okay, not just weaken it, and so it can be fit for the new world order. No, they're gonna completely destroy America, man. And you gotta remember, America has all these data centers, man. So the elites plan for America to be around, but they don't. They just want to weaken America. Okay, but America has the most data centers, and they plan on building, plenty more in America, man. So these elites, they plan on still having America around. Okay, but the Lord don't. Okay, the Lord gonna turn this bitch to a desert. You see, it's gonna go beyond. The elites have an agenda to weaken America and depopulate America. You know, no, the Lord gonna really depopulate this place. He gonna, all right, He gonna show you how to depopulate. All right, the Lord gonna show the elites how to depopulate, man, in a swift manner. Okay, verse 10 it says, "And Chaldea shall be a spoil; all their spoil horse shall be satisfied," said the Lord Yahweh Bashim Shai. Okay, so Chaldea, all right, the land of the Chaldeans shall be what, a spoil, which is America, man. Because this is the place where these devils have enchanted the earth, man. These elites have enchanted the earth, all right, via America, man. Okay? But now it's time for the Chaldeans, all right, to come down. Okay? You go here. Um Jeremiah Let's see. Let me go. Let me see. Hmm. These niggas everywhere. Yep, because they both. Let's go to this one. Hold on, let me see. Isaiah. Yep, is Isaiah 48:14 says, "All ye assemble yourselves and hear, which among them have declared these things. The Lord have loved him," which is speaking of Jacob. He will do his pleasure on Babylon. See, the Lord's going to do his pleasure on Babylon. Okay, which is to just screw it, man. Down with the least got planned. The Lord's going to do his pleasure. And his arm, all right, Yahweh Shai shall be on the Chaldeans. Okay, shall be on the Chaldeans. Okay. And in the midst of that, verse 20 says, "Go ye forth of Babylon," this is the elect. "Flee ye from the Chaldeans," separate from this world. Okay, and the Lord's going to physically come deliver us. Yahweh Shai is going to physically come deliver us from Babylon. Man. Okay, it says, because we've been spiritually delivered from the enchantments of the Chaldeans, and he's going to physically come get us from the land of the Chaldeans, man. With a voice of singing, declare ye, tell this, utter it in the end of the earth, say, the Lord have redeemed his servant Jacob, man. You see? So is that destruction, all right, is on the way to America, man. The Lord is going to redeem, okay, a remnant of Jacob, okay? And we're going to be singing the song of Moses on that chariot, man, the song of the Lord conquering our enemies, man. Okay? Well, let's see. Mm-hmm. Everywhere. Yep, let's go here. Yep. Jeremiah 15:25 said, "The Lord had opened his armory and had brought forth the weapons of his indignation, those nukes. For this is the work of the Lord of hosts in the land of the Chaldeans," man. Okay? So Esau, he's at the end. His witchcraft is at the end, man. His sorcery, all that's at the end. Played out, man. Time for this time. It's time for a change, man. It's time for something new, man. It's time for righteousness to dominate the earth, man. Okay? This nigga don't got it. Okay? Esau making this man bear. How's Esau bear? Well, not only is he being revealed, he's being stripped from these enchantments and sorceries and his ability to pull things off. He's being stripped from that, man. He's being made bare. Okay? We're watching this real time. The Lord making this nigga bare, man. Okay, that's why he ain't you see how he looking in the ring? Okay? You see how this nigga looking in the ring, man. That nigga, hey, okay? Nigga getting knocked out the ring. You see? It said a sword is upon the Chaldeans, said the Lord, and upon the inhabitants of Babylon, and upon her princes, and upon her wise men. Therefore, hear ye the counsel of the Lord that he hath taken against Babylon, and his purpose, okay, that he hath purpose against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. And we looked at it. The Lord set them niggas up to do that. The all the planets aligned, okay. And what did it do? The least of the flock drew these niggas out, man. Because they were dependent on their witchcraft. They were trying to stand with enchantments, man. Okay? They were trying to stand with them enchantments, man. And the least of the flock drew these niggas out, man. And it's going to lead to the purpose that the Lord got for Babylon and turn this bitch to a desert, man. Esau done signed his death certificate, man. Esau has signed his death certificate. He done. Okay. And when that nigga mandate the MOTB, that's him putting the pen down. Okay. It says, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation, all right, desolate with them. Okay, a desert. Okay, there's no good news. Okay, there's coming. All right, for America, man. You see? Let's go. Yep. First, Jeremiah 51 and 54 says, it sounded a cry coming from Babylon and great destruction from the land of the Chaldeans, man. All right, because he finna make Babylon suffer. Babylon's about to suffer, man. Okay, Babylon is about to suffer. That's the reality that we're all right walking into, man. Okay, all these, good times and okay, the goofy because Americans are goofy as hell, goofy as adults. Okay, all this goofy shit and the TikTok challenges and the dumbass arguments and niggas popping the balloons and you know the nigga woman still talking about what she don't accept and all this old crazy shit that the Americans on. Okay, nah, man, it's nothing but suffering coming to Babylon, man. Okay, and the Lord made sure that. Okay, and what the devil Trump just did, man. Okay, he he set the trajectory. Okay, of America for a lot of suffering, man. Leading all the way up into the noose. Okay, so let's let's see. Is there anything else? Let's go here. Revelation 18. And I started at 4. We ended here. It says, I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people. Okay. And that's going to be us going to those chariots. Okay. It's going to be in Hebrew. You're going to hear that going to those chariots, man. That you be not partakers of her sins and that you receive neither her plagues. And that's why the Lord has us separated now. So we don't partake of the devil's sins, all right, and plagues. It said, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High have remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her according to her works. In the cup which she had filled to her double. Okay? The cup she had filled to her double. So the Lord is finna reward, all right, the double because see, Esau's wickedness had reached unto the heavens, man. There's complaints in the spiritual world about Esau, man, just like there was complaints about Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay, there's a great complaint dealing with these devils, man, especially America. All right, how she have glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she said in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day. All right, in mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burnt with fire. For strong is the Lord power who judgeth her, man. Okay, so all the wickedness that Esau has pushed, through America, okay, all the destruction, okay, and poverty, famine, and starvations that the least have pushed through America, well, all this coming back, man, in a moment's time. Okay, that's coming back in a moment's time, man. Until this place is a smoking desert, man. Okay, so that's the point. Just wanted to get into that. Lord will, you brothers, all right, and you sisters edified. Till next time, I say shalom. Kwame Shala, Baba Basum, Shalom.